We're live.
We're live.
We're live.
We're back.
We're still
back.
alive. We survived the Christmas podcast.
We're alive.
We survived.
Just.
Only just. Some of us survived a little bit better than some of the others. I think Serge was still alive the next day. We were dead. Me and Shuey were hungover as bollocks. Anyway, so welcome to season 2, episode 1 ish. We made the promise that we were going to revamp the podcast. This is ongoing. With Dips, who's in Serge's chat, is doing our graphics and everything. The next podcast will be on the 30th of January, and that will be the relaunch of the podcast. It'll all be done on its own channel, new graphics, super slick, much better than we usually do, where somebody forgets to turn on the mic or something like that.
Henry has literally just said that. He's like, wait, ... We can hear you all in round 1 and no one is muted.
Serge's camera's probably about to die. So, anyway. So, right. So, welcome to 2023. Happy New Year, everybody. Surgical, Indie, VR. What have you been playing and what are you drinking?
I've been... I did a top 20 indie VR game video beginning of the year, so I just watched that, to be honest. There's loads on there. But since then, there's one that stands out. It's called Isle of Pan, and it's like a crazy... You take photographs and stuff, but you go into psychedelic trips and that. It really surprised me. It's a great game.
Yeah. I watched your TikTok video on that, actually, and I was just like, yeah, I need to play this. This is like Pokemon Snap in a game.
On crack.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I might have a spare key, mate. I'll have a look. I'm sure I can sort you out of one.
Sweet. Works for me.
Yeah, works for me too. I can't see. What's that? Southern Comfort. Wow. Cool.
Ooh. Snazzy.
Feeling fruity.
So
yeah.
Just have to move you across slightly while there. Right, so Shuey, what have you been playing and what are you drinking?
Okay, I am going to start off in that actual order, actually, and there's a reason for it. So what have I been playing? I've been playing a lot of Contractors, which has become sort of my typical go-to at this point. Like, a lot of my Discord, they really enjoy it. They like jumping on. They like just smashing it out with some random shit, whether it be like the ninja sort of stuff with the double jumps, or just going straight up and jumping into ground war and, you know, trying to capture places. And it's still like now, like I'm not getting bored of that game. No, the mods in it are amazing. The zombie mode is fun. I even did like a 40-minute mini stream just before I had to go and pick up my kids today with Taz, who didn't have his fucking microphone on. So that was a bit weird. We couldn't really communicate while we were playing a very difficult version of the game. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. I've been playing... I've actually gone back to playing Half-Life Alyx, the original campaign.
All right, okay.
Cool.
Because I just like I've played it once and I never played it again, so I've started playing again. So in fact, I'm actually going to start streaming that, I think, as well.
Yeah.
On the Pico 4, because why not?
Yes, because
that's what I streamed it today.
That's something we want. Want to talk
that's
about.
definitely something we need to talk about.
Today. We'll talk about. Yeah, that was a really good experience, and I said in the stream as well. I might stream it, but it's like, we'll talk about it later. How good it is on the Pico.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a Pico wanker now, so yeah.
Yes, he is. So what am I drinking specifically? I'm not drinking any booze tonight. It's got nothing to do with how absolutely wankered I was on the end of year stream. It didn't put me off drinking. Like, I drank all the way through Christmas, and actually that is probably the biggest reason why I'm not drinking. I have actually quit drinking for a little while. I think it's important for us to have a very, very just quick talk about that, right? It's okay to not drink. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, and it sounds like a cop-out because we're a drinking podcast and whatnot, right? And the thing is when things get on top of you, you need to take a step back. I'm not a god. As much as I look like one, sound like one, feel like one. It's sometimes you need to take a little step back from when you have a problem, and drinking has been a problem for me recently. So yeah, I will probably come back to drinking my craft beers on the channel at some point, but for now I am teetotal.
Oh, that's good. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
I'm teetotal until I go to Serge's party, and that's going to be a
There's
one-off.
no craft beer at that party, mate.
Right.
Okay then.
So I'm having a dry January, but I've decided to make it a moist January. I'm the same as Shuey. I've drank far too much at Christmas and decided to have a break. So I've actually been off the Mac juice for about 2 weeks. But you know, tonight's special. So
Sorry, Mac, your voice is low apparently in your stream.
is it? Oh, I've had this.
Your
problem,
audio's low.
I've had this problem with my mic. I don't know what it is. Right, give us 2 secs. I'll just keep talking. I'll sort it out.
Okay.
So don't really talk.
And no one talks.
Yeah, I had this problem the last time as well. Sorry, give us a two.
Well, let's start. Let's start with, we've already sort of alleviated to it. So Serge is now a Pico wanker. Why is it that you are now a Pico wanker, Serge? Why have you joined the rest of the Virtually Rek't podcast in the Pico way of life?
Just bullying. He just kept ganging up on me and making me feel bad about myself, inferior, and yeah, I just started.
So jealousy is what you're saying.
No, it wasn't even that. Do you know what it is? It's like I needed to see it for myself because I love my index, but I need to see what else is out there for PCVR. Because if I don't, like, if I hold on to it for too much longer and Decard announced the Decard thingy-majiggy, it's just going to plummet in price. At the moment, it's going for like 700 odd quid. But I'm not saying I'm going to sell it, but I'll just look in maybe. But yeah, I think Pico, just the lenses, man. Like I know you guys like talked about it a lot, but then today was the first time I actually properly went into a PCVR game, and I was like, Half-Life Alyx looked real. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it's so clear. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you look at it hard enough, you can still see the screen door effect, right? Like that still exists. It doesn't remove it, but it definitely lessens it.
I didn't even notice it, to be honest.
It does take a little bit. If you really focus on it, you can find the screen door effect ever so slightly, especially in certain environments, not specifically on Half-Life, but just in certain environments within games or within the home screen, you can find it. But unless you look for it, you don't see it.
Yeah, it's really good. Like the lens is just blown away. It's like, wow, I couldn't believe how good it looked.
Right, can I just quickly check my mic audio? Does that sound better to everybody? Yeah, I had this problem with.
For us,
it sounds all right, mate. There's a little bit of crackle to it, but nothing horrendous.
I think there was something on the when I did the Automobilista 2 stream, the mic wasn't playing up. The mic was playing up, so yeah. So anybody in my stream who's listening, right? So I never got round to talking about what I was playing. So I streamed and played a lot of Into the Radius at the beginning of the year. I basically joined Viveport, $7.99 a month, and
oh yeah,
you can basically. There's a lot of really good games on Viveport. So I downloaded Into the Radius and Wanderer because Shuey played Wanderer, said it was really good. Never played it. Yeah, I know.
Have you played it yet?
No, I haven't because I've been playing Into the Radius. I really
wanted to talk to someone about it. No one's played it.
I downloaded Pilot Wings 2, and then basically played Into the Radius for 2 weeks, like non-stop. So, and I got my PS5 delivered last week, so I've been playing a lot of Gran Turismo 7. I forgot how obsessed I was with getting my licenses in Gran Turismo 7. So, yeah, wow, great. So I got Gran Turismo 7, I got Resident Evil Village, but I haven't played it. I'm waiting for the VR version. Obviously, I want Horizon. Shuey, you had a bit of a problem pre-ordering your PSVR 2, didn't you?
Oh God, right. So I went out today. and bought myself a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And I didn't buy any games for it yet. Like it's been set up on my desk. If you're part of my Discord, you probably would have seen the picture. I think this is the ugliest console that I've ever owned.
Yeah.
But yeah, like PSVR 2. So I thought, right, if if I'm ordering the console today, I may as well stick down my pre-order for PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Went onto the website, sorted out the pre-order in the basket. I went for the PSVR 2 plus Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle, because then it works out, I think, is it £40 or something for the Call of the Mountain? And I also ordered a controller dock.
Okay.
Stuck it all in, because I thought for 40 quid, I'd rather have something that looks nicer. And they look like they're going to flop about on the table like fish, in all honesty. They don't look like they're going to sit and just be, because they're round, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I thought, right, yeah, let's get the dock. Fuck it, 40 quid, done. Yeah, it's very pretty. I'm enjoying it.
It's a great control. Oh, sorry, go on.
No. You're right, Serge. It is a great controller. Like playing the Astrobot thing with the adaptive control. Like until today, I'd never touched one of these.
No, neither did I.
Okay. And it is glorious. But yeah, so I stick them in the basket. We've got Horizon Call of the Mountain and the controller pack, and I go to purchase it, and I stick in my address, all of the jazz, click accept, press go, pre-order this thing for me. And when it came up on my orders page, it had for some reason switched out my Call of the Mountain, bundle pack with, for some weird ass reason, it had switched that out for a standard PSVR 2. And I was like, okay, well, this is not a big issue. I can cancel the order and I can go over and I can stick the bundle pack back in. Nope, you can't. So where I am at this moment in time,
one pre-order per household.
It's one pre-order per household. So it wouldn't let me pre-order the PSVR 2 now, which is a bit of a shitter.
I'll tell you one thing about their customer service. They're pretty bad. You talk to robots for the first 20 emails.
Oh yeah, I couldn't get hold of anyone. To speak to. They don't even open until 10:30 in the morning in UTC, which is a bit of a weird time of day to be like, oh yeah, our agents start then, and they finish at like 4 in the afternoon or something. Like they have the easiest day on the planet.
Yeah.
But yeah, consequently, I still do not have a pre-order for a PSVR 2, which I'm pretty annoyed about.
Yeah. I did the same as you. I pre-ordered my PSVR 2, and then I thought I should really have pre-ordered the Call of the Mountain. So, but then I thought, if I cancel this, that means I'm going to go back on the list, which means I might not get it in the release window. So I just sort of thought, well, I'll just buy the hard copy of Call of the Mountain and just sell it on later on when I'm finished playing it. So yeah, that sucks. It's interesting to know that a company as big as PlayStation still has shit customer service, and yet we still hype on about Quest. We still hype on about the Quest sort of really poor customer services as well.
I mean, the game is going to be. We all speculated how much games are going to be, so that will be in a physical about maybe £5-10 more because it was not with the bundle, but it's not going to be any more than 50 quid. So
yeah.
Plus you can once you finish with it, you can trade it in and it hold its value for a long time. But something like that, you just won't trade in, will you? Because you just be like, I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
It's going to be epic. It's going to be one of the best. It's going to be Game of the Year candidate for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I specifically ordered the disc version of the PS5 because I've got so used to buying digital versions now and then play a game and then don't go back to it. And you think, well, if I bought the hard copy, I could have just sold it. But obviously on Steam, Quest, that's kind of not a thing. But on PlayStation, it's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing. I'm going to become CEX's most favourite customer when the PSVR 2 launches.
Because you were going for the digital one.
I was,
to start with.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that, and I was like, no, you need to get, because the games, like say you buy the game for 70 quid, you're gonna want to trade it in. You still get 40 odd quid for it. Like one game I can recommend is Ghost of Tsushima. It's a brilliant game.
Yeah,
Play that between now and getting your PSVR 2.
Played that a lot, didn't
That's such a wicked game.
So Walking Dead's just donated. Thank you very much, my friend. He said getting a
Thank you,
steering
Walking
wheel.
Dead.
He says getting a steering wheel pedal because Mac dusted me on my controller. Basically, we played AMS2 in the stream, and Walking Dead was there with me. And I knew it was Walking Dead because every time we got to a corner, he just speared off into the distance. We were coming through the Dell in Donington Park, and this car just appeared in front of me doing like 2 miles an hour, and I smacked it up the backside, and it went shooted off into the barriers, and I thought, I think that was Walking Dead. Sorry, dude. So he's now.
We need to actually make sure that I've got friends. Like, if anybody has a PS5 already and they want to friend me,
that's a good idea. Yeah.
My name will be Power on VR on there somehow. So yeah, look. I think so. Anyway, I haven't even finished setting it up. Like, I started setting it up at like 6 o'clock.
Yeah. My PSN
anyway,
is
there
back
is
in
something.
VR. Yeah.
There is something I would like to talk about because my chat is talking about it a lot, which is to do with the horizontal versus vertical issue of the PS5. So if you haven't heard about this, there was a thing from Wololo on Twitter in the news about 3 weeks ago now, which stated basically that there had been issues surrounding having your PS5 in the vertical position.
Oh shit!
And the idea is because it has a liquid metal cooling
I
system.
heard about this, yeah.
A liquid metal heatsink system. So and the article stated that like they'd opened it up and it had actually been dripping onto other parts of the PCB. Which obviously, like, you don't want any kind of conductive material anywhere near those points on any motherboard, on any piece of electrical equipment, because that's only going to conduct electricity and create a short circuit and inevitably fuck your device, which for a £400-500 console isn't the best. However, this got blown out of the proportions. Like, everybody reported about it. Every gaming site, every news site, like Facebook had it, Twitter had it, TikTok had it. Everybody had this. Like, everyone was up in arms because, this is one of the, most prolific consoles on the planet.
Yeah.
Turns out, Wololo actually rewrote their statement because they got something very, very wrong. And it wasn't the actual consoles that they had looked at were consoles that had been in for repairs, had actually been opened up, pulled apart, and then when they had opened them up themselves, then there was the issue. They could see the issue because obviously it either hadn't been put together properly or something had gone wrong with some other components. So this is not new consoles. This is not consoles that haven't been opened. This is just consoles that have been in for repair. So if your console hasn't been in for repair, you don't have to worry. There are plenty of people that have this device and have had this device, millions and millions and millions of people that have had this sitting vertically for 2 years without issue. So don't panic, don't worry. It is just an accidental scare.
The this brings up something. I mean, people might not remember the Xbox 360. I actually once repaired my Xbox 360 with a hairdryer.
Yep.
Do you remember?
I used to make a lot of money out of that red ring, mate.
Yeah.
What were you doing with a hairdryer, Mac?
The red. Fuck off. It was my wife's. Right. So basically, So fuck off, Serge. If you had your Xbox 360 vertical, what happened was the chip had the like we're talking about had the heat sink, and what would happen is as it got warm and played, the chip would start to slip. The heat sink would melt and the chip would start to slip. So what you'd had to do was you had to open your Xbox 360 and you had to basically run a hairdryer over the chip, and that would fix the problem. And I got the red ring of death on my Xbox 360. Oh my God. On the internet, riddler diddler. You can use a hairdryer to fix it. Used a hairdryer and it fixed. It also goes back to the Xbox One.
Original.
No, the Xbox Series X, when that first came out, and that video went viral on Twitter of the smoke coming out the top of it. Remember that?
Yeah.
And basically what it was just basically, it got blown out of all proportion. Guy put a video on Twitter saying, oh, wow, look at this. And what he was doing was he was trying to show the airflow by pumping dry ice through the
Using
bottom of
vape.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was it vape? Was it a vape? Yeah, I thought it was dry ice. Anyway, he
It's
was
either vape or dry
Yeah.
ice, but it's a vapor.
so he
either
was
way.
like pushing vapor through the bottom of the Xbox Series X, and of course, because it's basically just a giant funnel, it was dragging the vape and the smoke up, and it was coming out the top. And people were like, "Oh my god, Xbox Series X is catching fire!" And this guy was like, "No," but by then, the story had already gone viral, quite similar to what Shuey's been talking about. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. It was vape, yeah. Mobeast just confirmed it was vape, yeah. I thought it was something like that. Yeah, so we're all now PS5 wankers apart from Surgical.
Again, this is I swear what me and Mac actually talk in the back alleys when Surge isn't around, and we're like, oh, what can we persuade Surge to get? And then we'll get what can we persuade Surge to sell? Because actually what me and Mac have figured out now, right, is the moment you sell your index, we're going to rebuy indexes.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a fucking conspiracy, because 6 months ago you're like, fuck PlayStation, no, never, oh no, blah blah blah. Matt goes, oh, sell your PlayStation, get the Quest 2.
Perfectly reasonable, because you would rebrand it as Indie VR.
He's so convincing at lying, isn't he? Look at this.
You'd rebrand it as Indie VR, and I said,
I'm saying this,
and I said,
I can jump on either bandwagon here, and I'm happy just to sit and watch it fall apart.
So the argument was, Indie came to me and he said, I've got a PS5, I'm going to get a PSVR 2, and I said, well, you've rebranded as Indie. You need to get a Quest 2, because that's where all the independent titles are, because of SideQuest. So we kind of went back and forth, and he decided to sell his PS5 and get a Quest 2, whereupon me and Shuey basically went out and bought PS5 straight away.
What pushed you over the edge? What actually changed that? For both of you, what changed that?
Gran Turismo 7 and Resident Evil Village. Sorry, that's not what changed my mind. What changed my mind was, so there's two people in the industry that I really respect, and I've met both of them. It's Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis and Cass from Cass and Cherry, and they both got the demo at the I can't remember, it was just right at the beginning of the year, or was it just at the end of the year?
What, CES?
CES or GDC, I can't remember. And Mike came away and said, this is the only thing I can think about. Was PSVR 2.
Oh yeah, he said that in like October.
Yeah,
he got
a demo.
He went down to London.
That
was
it. Yeah,
it. They invited him down to London.
Yeah, and he came out, and I mean, somebody like Mike, who is, he's an industry vet. He's been involved in this sort of industry since the beginning, 2016. When his channel started, and then Cass did exactly the same thing. She was like, I played Horizon Call of the Mountain, blown away, and she said that's all I can think about. So. Like, for me, it wasn't, the icing on the cake was Gran Turismo VR, because I'm a massive Gran Turismo fan. So that was what changed my mind. I don't know how you feel, Shuey.
Okay, so I went through a kind of peaks and troughs with this one. So I said at the end of September, it might have even been November, that I was saying, right, I am actually going to buy this.
Yeah.
And my reasoning for buying it was not necessarily the best reason for doing so. My reason for buying the PSVR 2 and the PlayStation 5 was because simply I run a VR channel, right? Yeah. So my thought was this is one of the big things. If Decard doesn't come out this year, this is probably going to be the biggest release of this year, if you don't count the Quest 3, which would arguably be the biggest, but I'm not certain. So that was my initial thought. And then you persuaded me on the podcast. Maybe I shouldn't get it. Because I was deciding on whether or not I was going to hold off my money and how I was going to actually sort out my finances. At the time, I still had quite a lot of money left to pay off on my PC that I got. And so, I decided not to get it. And then YouTube blew up over Christmas, and I instantly just had enough money to go and buy this thing. And I was just like, do you know what? Right, I've paid off my PC. If YouTube's paying for it and it's not coming out of my money, even though it is my money kind of thing, then I want to experience it. And actually, I keep forgetting that it has foveated rendering, that it has these different haptics things, the fact that it has eye tracking and all sorts of interesting. Like for some reason, I'd managed to bury that in my subconscious somewhere and just be like, no, ignore it, don't worry about it. That's not going to make you. It's not going to change your mind. And now I'm really, really hyped for this. I'm super hyped for it, and I still can't tell you which game I'm actually hyped about, but I am really hyped for it.
Go on then, Shuey. Come on in, Indy. Give us your opinion, because you have yet to buy your PS5, have you? The one since you sold one.
I think it's to do with. I think honestly, it's Tassos constantly going on about the PSVR 2. Everybody PSVR 2. He's like a fucking. He's on commission.
He's a parrot, mate.
Tassos is
PSVR 2.
So basically, Tassos.
Wow, that was
a real that was terrible. That sounded like an Indian doing a Greek. So basically, Tassos.
I can hear myself. That's why.
I know. Tassos works in a restaurant in Greece, and he's a good friend of us. He's a good friend of all three of our channels. He's a top guy, and he's just saying he is working his arse off to buy his PSVR 2, and that's what makes me feel a bit guilty, because I'm a little bit better off than he is. So I just said to the wife, "Can I get this?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, it's good for the channel."
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, it is. So sorry, Indy, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I could have pre-ordered it. To be honest, I could have pre-ordered it the other day, but I just got the Pico because I need. My main thing is like PC VR and obviously indie stuff, and I needed something good.
Yeah.
I needed to make sure I had a good PC VR headset if I was going to sell my index.
So this is this is a separate issue, because people may not know this in the podcast, but we are all Pico wankers now, aren't we?
We are indeed.
Why? So, Indy, why did you buy Pico?
Because you told me to. We were on the fucking phone, and he goes, "Pull the trigger." That's exactly what happened.
No. Right. So anybody doesn't know this. I have contacts in Pico. I was very fortunate to be invited down to London by Pico. Met my good friend Shuey when we were there, and so my contact in Pico. I've actually said to her, "Can you supply Indy with a Pico 4, because we want to have this like triumvirate, me, him, Shuey doing like Pico stuff." And she was like, "Oh yeah, I'll get on it." But they kind of dragged their heels a bit, didn't they? And then you just one day you just went and thought, yeah,
because what it is, it's like it's not down to. It's great. She was trying to sort it out, but it's not as simple as it seems. So from what you were telling me, it was like I just thought, you know what, I need to do this now, because if they announce the deck card tomorrow, my 700 odd pound index is going to drop down to 600, 550. Who knows how low it's going to go? Because and I've had it for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I love it. If that had the Pico lenses, if I could just unscrew the lenses from the Pico and put it in the index, I would.
So this right. Yeah. So anybody that hasn't experienced a Pico 4, like, what was your first impression when you put the Pico 4 on your face? Apart from being fucking uncomfortable.
Oh, do you know what? It's funny you say that, because I played for 4 hours and I did not give a flying shit about the face thing, the head thing, nothing. It was fine. But then I was dropped on my head a lot as a kid and slammed into the ground on my head. So I've got a skull that's probably a few inches thicker than most.
This is a good advert for Punjabi Sikhs, isn't it? I got dropped on my head a lot as a child. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just how light it is, really light. And the first thing I did is I put it on, and I thought it can't be that good. And then I spent an hour watching 4K YouTube. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's better than looking at it on your TV. That's how, if you got a 4K TV, it has to be a pretty decent one to look that good. It was amazing. It was great. And then I played a game which we're going to talk about later, the survival one, and you can't tell with standalone too well, but it looks really cool. But then today, which we're going to talk about later on as well, when I put Half-Life on, I did a stream and I was like, wow, it's I didn't play it. I saved it for when I put the stream on from like a proper reaction, and I was amazed. It was like, but yeah, I like the controls as well. I prefer them to the Quest 2.
Oh, do the reload thing. Do the reload thing.
What's that?
Do the reload thing.
The reload thing with the batteries, man.
Oh,
have you not taken your batteries out yet?
No.
Oh, do it, man.
What?
Do it.
You've got to. It's like the reason to have the
Hold
controller.
it up so we can see. Hold it up so we can see. Right. Pop.
Right.
Right.
What do I do? Push it?
Other way up. Other way up. Other way up.
Push it up.
No.
Turn the controller
the other way up. Oh, my God.
Yeah, right. Now pull the slip down. Pull the little tag down.
Oh, cool.
Now slam it back in.
You can slam it back in.
Yes. It's like reloading a gun, man. It's amazing.
But compared to, sorry, mate, just going to say, the contours in this, I've got big hands as well. The contours in this are a lot more, they fit your hand a lot more. This is thicker, but it's just like straight shaped.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no contours on it. If you look carefully, you've got contours on this where it goes around there and it kind of goes in there as well. And it just fits in your hand a lot better. And I like the buttons more as well. They feel a bit more quality for some reason.
Yeah. And they've got this.
They feel a lot more quality.
You can't actually see it on the stream, but this is textured. And it kind of holds your hands really well. But perhaps Serge didn't do it well enough. So I'm going to do it myself. It's like a fucking gun. It's awesome. And, you know.
I'll tell you what, though. Yeah, you don't need no batteries for this bad boy here. It's already
sell it.
King.
Sell it. Sell it.
All right. Tomorrow morning, I'll send you a message. I sold it for 20 quid back. So just get rid of it because you told me to. But yeah, I do. The Picos, it's. I know you guys were going on about it. I was like, it can't be that good. But it's like, it's so light. I can just lift it like that. It's not just like small.
Yeah. The thing. I mean, I was live streaming into the Radius, and I forgot to put I've got a Bobo VR adapter for a battery for the Pico, which sits on the back of the strap. And I got so into playing into the Radius, I missed the fact that the Pico said the battery was going to die. And it died. And I was running Virtual Desktop, and I thought, shit. So I quickly switched to my Quest 2. Luckily, Virtual Desktop is so clever that if it's running on your PC, you can use multiple versions of Virtual Desktop. So I switched from Pico to Quest 2, and it picked up the fact that I was still playing into the Radius and just carried on. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. But at the same time, I put the Quest 2 on and went, fuck me, because immediately the field of view went donk, and the screen resolution was just below what I'm used to now, because the Pico 4 has become my main way of playing PC VR. So yeah. So Shuey, how do you feel about that?
Specifically, what? Sorry.
The screens and the lenses.
I'm pretty happy with. So I did my stream earlier today on my Pico 4. And as I said, it was only 40 minutes and we were just playing contractors. The actual screens themselves and the field of view are great. Yeah. I'm a big fan. The contrast on the Quest 2 seems to be dialed up to 11.
Yeah.
As standard, which I personally like. I don't care if things don't look as real to life in a lot of the games we play in VR. I'd actually rather them really pop. Like I quite like the gaudy feeling, like extra green grass, extra blue skies. I actually quite like that.
HDR and turn the contrast up to max.
Exactly, right? So when I was playing earlier, it's very noticeable very quickly that contractors that everything looks more realistic when playing on the Pico, but mainly not because of the extra field of view and the extra good screens. It's because the contrast is dialed all the way down, and what you actually get is a lot more sort of autumn grayscaling. And it looks really good. It really puts you in the game that bit more. But yeah, it just looks a bit muddy, I guess, is the way I would put it.
Tell you what, I
Really?
did notice. So I went on Pop One, and I was playing on the Index for ages, and I noticed exactly what you're saying, but only in Pop One, not in Half-Life Alex, but in Pop One I did. It was like a different color palette. It seemed like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, and I'm not complaining about that at all, actually. Although I do generally prefer the contrast on things to be further up because I like that sort of gaudy popping color. Playing Contractors earlier with it made it slightly more difficult, in fact, because I was trying to use iron sights in the dark on the zombie mode, and I was struggling. Like people were watching me. Like I think what's his name? Monkey in my Discord was watching, and he was like, "Yeah, you seem to have when you're doing it on the quest, your reloads seem to be faster, your shots seem to be more on target and things." And it might just be that I'm not seeing as well, and I'm not quite as used to the controllers.
Yeah, this is the thing for me. The ultimate test is Pop One, so I went in just to test out virtual desktop because I was a bit skeptical because I was like, I'm so used to being wired, and I'm like, it's just the wired, and there's a wire, but I've got the old thingy on the ceiling. Which if I did ever get the PSVR 2, I would use that cable pulley system thing, and I did a bot battle, and it's weird because I thought the reloading was really quick. The climbing and stuff was pretty good. Peeling the banana, oddly enough, was the first peel was a bit weird. I think with the Index you get a bit more flow, but I need to play a bit. I know Crash hated it. He's like, he said to me yesterday, he goes, I can't play Pop One without my Index because his win rate went down to like 10% from whatever it is. Yeah, typical Crash though. He blames what's the saying?
It's
The bad workman blames his tools.
Yeah. Just as a point in my chat, people are trying to look for my PSN ID. I had it to friends only, so you should now be able to search for Mac in VR.
Right.
I don't know if you know that. You'll probably be able to search for Power on VR once he's got his things set up. You just need to put your privacy settings to anyone so that people can find you. So try that now. Sorry to interrupt.
Zen Quality's back, by the way. He's been away for a while.
Hey Zen, how's it
Zen,
going,
how you
my
doing,
guy?
mate? Okay, so we are now Pico 4 wankers, and we are now.
We all got Pico wankers.
We all Pico
Yeah.
wankers.
Can we please talk about Survival Nation?
Yep.
Okay, right.
It doesn't have to be long, but I would like to talk about it because I actually spoke to. For those of you who don't know, when you is our contact within Pico, and she's lovely. Like she's absolutely wonderful, and she treats us really, really, really well. And when and Shuya gave us access to a Pico exclusive called Survival Nation. Some of you may have seen Mac streaming it in the last sort of few weeks.
Serge has streamed it as well.
And Serge has streamed it as well. Before I come in, because I'm the only one who hasn't streamed it, I have played it. I've played about 3 hours, I think, of it. And I have a feeling that it would be fair for people to say it, so I wouldn't disagree with it, that maybe I haven't played enough. But can I get your guys' opinion on this before I jump in?
Okay, so I was given access before everybody else. When I
Pico wanker.
No, it wasn't that. Sorry,
Ambassador.
Ambassador. I got access. No, I got access. I got access just before it released, and I started to play it. The first 2 hours are pretty dull. It's basically a hand holding, showing you the ropes of how to play the game. It's nothing different from any other game you've ever played, but there's a tutorial. It's just that Survival Nation is quite in depth, so there's like a 2 hour kind of hand holding bit, which I initially thought, oh my god, but when I actually got out into the game, it improved. My first feeling was that if anybody's played State of Decay on flat screen PC VR or Xbox, I don't know whether it was released on PlayStation. So State of Decay was an amazing zombie game where you could hoard your resources, build your bases, gather people with certain skills. And if they got killed, they were dead. That was like, if they got killed on a mission, they were dead. It was quite traumatic if you actually sent somebody out on a mission and they got killed. So my initial thought for Survival Nation was that's how I felt about the game. So I'm level 26 or 27, I think. I haven't checked recently. So I put about 6 hours into it, and my feeling is, unfortunately, it's quite lackluster. That's my feeling. I do. Yeah. There you go. Serge?
Okay, so I've streamed it a couple of times. Bit slow to start. I like all the leveling up, weapons unlocking, and all that kind of stuff. I've got a pretty good bow now. So I don't have a lot of experience with standalone, so I can't compare it. I've never played a standalone open world game, I don't think. So I just said it is what it is. The graphics aren't the best. They could do an overhaul, but it's playable. And for me, I think the main thing, there's a couple of things. The zombie models and the actual textures, the actual zombie models. I have seen better ones now, but in general, they use the same zombie models and they all spawn at the same place. And when you get to a certain point, you have to just do loads of side missions, the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
But it doesn't tell you that. You need to get to level 15 by doing these boring same shit missions. They just rinse and repeat them till you get to a certain level. Then you do one mission, which is the main storyline, and you got to level up again doing all this other crap. So it's like, that's another gripe for me, because I was streaming yesterday. I was like, God, this is boring, because people are watching and I'm just doing the same crap.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Sorry, Shui. I was going to say one of the things. Right. So one of the things I liked about State of Decay was you could go out specifically to clear zombies from the area. Right.
Yeah.
So one of the things about State of Decay was some of the areas were really, really thick with zombies. So you could go out on a mission, not like scripted, and you could clear an area of zombies so that you could then loot. With Survival Nation, every time you leave the sanctuary, the same zombies, the same level 1 zombies, pop up out of the ground, and you just like, oh, for fuck's sake, and you just run past them.
Yeah, I did ask you the other day, Mac, about if you went further into the map and you died. So I actually went further into the map yesterday, and you got level 30, 40 zombies.
Yeah.
But what it was is there were screamers and there was different wildlife that comes after you and all that stuff. But in the chat, they even pointed. I can't remember who was pointed out the same thing. It was like they all just walk until you shoot them, and then when you do shoot them, they rush you. So you can go to these high level areas, and they just keep walking, which is a bit weird. And then again, it's the same thing where they keep spawning at the same place. I think it's a bit.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit kind of lazy. It's a bit stupid.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I love the survival. I love that kind of game. It just needs work. I just don't. I don't. It's supposedly an early access, right? Am I right on that?
No. This is the full title release. Anybody wondering what we're talking about? Me and Serge are actually going to stream it tomorrow in the afternoon. Sorry, Power On, you're working. I do apologise.
No, I'm not, but I'm still not playing it.
All right, cool.
So
come on then, let's go.
Right. So here's the thing, right? I didn't enjoy any single part of what I did. I didn't enjoy the voice acting. I didn't enjoy the lack of backstory to anything. Which I know they're trying to make you the protagonist, and so there has to be some sort of like lack of backstory to that. But like the first lady you walk up to, she's just like, "Yeah, we know each other," and I'm just like, "Cool. Why?" You've like arrived on a boat under a waterfall that looks like flowing blue slime.
Yeah,
like it does. There's no water graphics. There's no ability. There's there's invisible walls everywhere, which I wasn't a fan of.
That's massive
Yeah,
problem.
I hate seeing those.
Massive problem.
The zombie reactions to damage is terrible. Like this is a dedicated zombie survival game, right? And the zombies from Pavlov's Shack have better animations, better sounds, and this is a free game. Pavlov's Shack is a free game.
Yeah.
In all honesty, you're right in what you said, Serge, is that it does feel like it needs work, but I genuinely don't think they're going to work on it.
No.
I honestly thought all this time, somebody said, I don't know where I read it or just made up in my mind. I heard it was early access, and it's still being worked on. So that's the actual game, because I didn't realise that.
Yeah, that's a full retail release, mate.
It feels like Pico, and they're not wrong in doing this because they are playing catch up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels like they are just throwing the money at the situation and hoping that something sticks, and they're trying to get exclusives on board so that they have a reason why you would buy the Pico, not just for the hardware but for the software as well.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. They should be doing this.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a conversation with someone earlier to do with certain new things that are coming to the Pico ecosystem, and I'm really happy about them. But yeah, so they should be doing that, and it's pretty cool. But unfortunately, this one was a massive swing and a miss for me, to the point where even though 2 of my friends are going to be playing it tomorrow, I have so little interest in playing it that I'm sorry, I'm not going to be joining you.
Go back. Sorry.
So so if you could upgrade the base, if you could recruit people to your team, like you could in State of Decay. So one of the things I really loved about State of Decay was that you could build a base, and then you could outfit that base with specialists. You could have like a gardener, you could have a cook, you could have guys who were ex-military to watch the guard towers. You could have expert scavengers who you could just send out on missions, like completely irrelevant to what you were doing, and they would go out and come back with resources. But sometimes they get into trouble. You have to go and rescue them, and that was all kind of part of the problem. But I think that's what Survival Nation missed completely. Sorry, Shuey, you look like you've just reacted to something.
No, sorry. Right, so Slow Coach just put in my chat, we need DayZ. And my brain, throughout the entire time you were talking, was just like, why don't we have DayZ in VR right now?
We have PUBG.
That's the game I actually want to play. Like, we don't have DayZ in VR other than we have PUBG.
Yeah.
And we have a mode in Contractors that me, Taz, and...
Fitz, probably. Come on, it's probably Fitz.
No, it wasn't Fitz. It wasn't Fitz. I think it was like there are some clips I've got which are fantastic where we were in there and we met this guy, and you can change like the channel on your walkie-talkie so that you can be in a team as you're wandering around the map. And we met this kid, and this kid, like, he kept coming over to us and being like, hey guys, can I hang out with you? And we were just like, yeah, that's fine, drop all your weapons, kind of thing. And eventually I was just like, bam, in the back of the head, and I felt fucking terrible about it. But it was pretty fun, but it's garbage. But we don't have what is essentially a DayZ import over to the VR space, and it would be perfect. Like, it doesn't have to look good. In fact, it can look like Survival Nation. Sorry, I don't care if it looks like that, so long as it plays like DayZ.
Yeah,
there's someone working on something very similar. Developer. It's early days yet, but it looks like if he does do it, it'll be great. It's very early days, but he's working on a very DayZ like
that
game.
I would be interested in, mate.
So Weeble's just asking my chat. Fast travel in Survival Nation would be handy. There is fast travel in Survival Nation, but you have to get to the other bases in the map to unlock it. But unfortunately,
which I did.
Oh, I never got there. You see, because I ran into a group of like level 30 zombies and just ended up
I got
dying.
there.
Oh, you did? And then what happened?
Yeah, I got there. There's fucking nobody there because it's part of the main tier quest.
There's
no one there. And then I died of hunger.
Bad. Bad decisions. Bad decisions.
Yeah, the thing is, I play indie games a lot and stuff, so I let a lot of stuff kind of slide a bit because I'm just used to it. But I didn't realize that was the actual game because I was thinking they were going to do more. But I love the whole leveling up. A lot of it is really cool, like the weapon stuff, leveling up, and the skill tree.
Yeah, I really like that.
It's just the core gameplay. Is yeah.
It reminded me a lot of
Oh man.
Oh Christ Almighty, what was the? Oh, my brain. The one where you're in the forest. Green Hell. Green Hell? Is that right?
No, the forest.
No,
Forest or Green Hell?
no, not the forest.
Oh,
Green
you're
Hell.
on about the actual survival game.
Yeah, where you
Green
had
Hell
to
VR,
you had to, if you got a parasite in your stomach, you had to eat a mushroom, and I really liked that leveling up tree. So that was one of the things I liked about Survival Nation was the leveling up tree was really, really, it's really in depth, and I like that thing about the RPG aspect of it. But like I said, every single time you leave the base and the same zombies just go, whoop, level 1. And you're like, I'm just going to run past you. It doesn't,
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. Sorry.
So did you get to the zombie bear?
That was the last mission I did. If I can talk. Yeah.
So basically, what happens in Survival Nation is the zombies don't bother you.
Sorry, I didn't mean if I could talk. It's because I was stuttering. Sorry,
right,
I wasn't being a cunt.
So the zombies basically they'll sort of shamble after you. If you shoot them, they run at you, and they're quicker than you are. So if you shoot them, you have to be committed to actually taking out the whole group of zombies. So the problem with the zombie bear was it's like, oh, there's a zombie bear where we go fishing. We need to kill it because it's eating all our fish. Okay, go down. Like, there's the zombie bear. Shoot the zombie bear. Zombie bear rushes at you. You can't run away. Zombie bear's like massively levels above you, kills you. Shit. So the way I got around it is I managed to trap him in a glitch by there was like a little wooden structure, and I was stood behind it, and I shot him, and he ran at the structure and was going, ah, and I just went bang, 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 reload, bang, 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 reload. He died. Yep. Mission over. So it's kind of like, who designed this game? Who were the guys who did the the sort of testing? Who's the person who signed off on this game to say, yeah, this is ready for release. This is a big Pico exclusive. We're going to release it onto the Pico headset. We're not going to actually advertise it. We're just going to release it. Nobody knew about it. It's one of the things that Pico has a problem with. It was very poor.
Yeah, I'm gutted that that's not early access.
Yeah,
I really thought it was. So I was holding out some hope.
Yeah. I mean,
disappointing all round.
I mean, Pico, they're trying really hard. Like I said, me and Shui have contacts in Pico, and they are really trying hard. But you've got to remember that Meta have like a massive nearly 3-year head start on them. Obviously, taking into account the original Quest, and obviously the Quest, the Go as well. But I think they'll get there. I think the headset itself is a quality item. If you use it for PC VR, the lenses are great, the screens are great. It's a little bit uncomfortable.
It's super lightweight.
Yeah, unless you have a Surge face where it just fits, because he's been dropped on his head as a child by his.
I still need to try and get hold of a new facial adapter for that because they exist now. We know that they exist.
I've got 2 on the way. way.
Okay.
Right. So what happened was I backed the Geek VR Kickstarter in December. Cost me £55, and it's kind of like it's an adapter. It looks like a Quest Pro head strap. It's got like a sort of forehead cup and a new insert with the sort of PVU sort of soft cushion face. And Sebastian from, what's his name? Seb from YouTube channel MRTV. He did a review and he said it was good. And also AMVR, who sent me what did AMVR sent me? They sent me. Anyway, AMVR sent me some. They're sending me another facial interface, which should be with me within the next week. So we've got 2 options now. And that is the only criticism I have of the Pico 4 is that it's fucking uncomfortable. The facial interface is terrible.
Yeah.
That's a replaceable thing, and it will get better.
Yeah.
Like the Quest, in my opinion, was fucking uncomfortable, and now it's one of the comfiest things I own. So that's a problem that can be fixed.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
we've spoken a lot about Pico. We've spoken a lot about Survival Nation. Serge, pick a topic to move onto.
Well, give me a second.
We've got a few. I know one that I would like to talk about, but
Well, why don't you
Quest
just talk
1
about
being
them?
ditched.
Yes,
What's that?
that's a good one.
Quest 1 being ditched.
Yeah.
I still didn't hear you. I don't.
Quest.
The Oculus Quest, the Quest 1. They're
Oh yeah, the Quest 1. Yes.
3 years.
Good thing, bad thing.
3 years.
I mean, 3.5. Yeah, 2019, wasn't it?
Imagine if you bought a phone.
May.
Imagine if you bought a phone and the manufacturer said, "Yeah, that's it. 3 years."
Okay. Let's just without anything else. Do you think this is a good thing, a bad thing, or neither?
Right. So my problem with it is that they've said we're not going to support the Quest 1 anymore. That's fair enough. But they're going to take away the social aspect. So now you cannot use the Quest party chat. You cannot go to a Quest, somebody who has like a Quest home. You can be invited to the home. So it basically cuts Quest 1 use. I mean, I know there's not a lot of them. They sold less than 1 million, I think. Somebody correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But you're taking the legs away from like your user base. So people who might not be as modern as we are, and talk about PSVR 2 and Decard and Quest 3 and Pico 4. You got somebody just bought a Quest and then just used it for social aspects. Gone. Like, that's my opinion. I think that's a stupid decision.
Yeah, I think they're having it till 2024. They're updating it and all that kind of stuff. But what's that going to be? 5 years, I guess. Less than 5 years it would have been out.
Yeah, but they're losing the social aspects now.
Yeah. So I think it's shit because obviously because people lose the social aspect and all that stuff. That's really bad. They should just continue keeping it going. They're trying to force people to go into the Quest 2. And then people in poorer countries who can only get the Quest 1 or only afford the Quest 1 or for whatever reason they only can use the Quest 1, I think they're getting shafted. So, yeah. And then and the price hike makes a massive difference that they did last year, right? Another £100 or dollars.
Yeah. Like we've got
Quest 1.
We've got friends in Brazil who said that the Quest 2 went from being a year's worth of saving up to being 2 years worth of saving up because of that price hike. Sorry to interrupt
2 years'
you.
Wages it is.
Yeah, so
that's true.
Who was it? What was his name? CYTT? The guy who interviewed us.
Sai.
That's it.
Oh,
yeah.
Sai.
Yeah, Sai. Yeah.
Sai. Yeah.
So people aren't as we're lucky because we have access to all this stuff. Some people just about have access to the internet, and their only way into the outside world is via the internet and maybe their Quest 1 and all that kind of stuff. So I think they should just keep it. Should have just kept it going. Like I don't think it's gonna. I don't know how much does it cost them to keep it running, all that kind of stuff.
I don't know. What's
in the grand scheme of things?
In the goodwill, yeah. Sorry, Shuey. What do you think?
Okay, okay, I'm going to present the other side of the argument on this. And feel free to hate on me, people. By all means, throw those opinions out there, right? And I'll try and defend my position. That's fine. As who was it who was saying it? Walking Dead. He has also put that it is holding us back. The Quest 1 is holding us back because any content that comes out on the Quest 2, the Quest 3, the Quest Pro, that has to be taken into account of the fact that the Quest is part of the existing ecosystem, right? So those things like have to be taken into account, and if they're not, then Quest is getting fucked over.
Yeah.
And if they are, then everybody else is getting reduced because of these 1 million Quest users. Yeah,
I understand what you're saying here, but what's happening here is that's not what's happening. They are cutting this. So you have to understand, when the Quest 2 came out, there was a lot of people who moved on to Quest 2, so therefore they were like, oh, we're only going to make games for Quest 2. Quest 2 sold what, 16 million, 17 million at the moment. Quest 1's this here. They're cutting off the social aspect of the Quest 1. They're not like saying, people who've got Quest 1 have to accept that they're not going to be getting the latest games. They must have already accepted that. They're cutting off the social aspect of Quest 1. And I think that's a financial decision, which is petty.
I don't think it's just a financial decision. I really don't. Like, yes, there has to be an element of that, because you've essentially got to have an entire department dedicated to an old piece of hardware that's no longer being sold. Like, they are literally not making money out of that piece of hardware.
It's 3 years old. What if they did that to your phone?
It's 4 years old, to be fair.
It's well, yeah, technically.
It's 4 years old, to be fair, and it's not like if they'd sold 25 million, 50 million, 100 million of these devices, that's a whole different kettle of fish, right? Like, the PS5 didn't sell 1 million sets of the hardware, did it? The Xbox didn't sell 1 million sets of the hardware. It sold multiple millions, right? Yeah. So even though that the current life cycle for that is, what is it, 6 years, 7 years? So we're talking half of that, and less than 10%, by probably less than 5% of the total sales of these other consoles, right? For roughly the same price. Because the Quest 1 was an expensive device. No. I think it was it 400? I think it was $400 when it came out, £400. Yeah. So it's not just that, but also it's a separate set of software that you're developing socially for that particular headset. Compared to the Quest 2 or the Quest 3 or the Quest Pro, which are going to be using all the same sort of software in order to keep them all together. What I think they should do, because, like, here's the thing. The Xbox 360, it doesn't talk to the Xbox Series S, does it?
No.
Like, the social aspects aren't on the same wavelength. And most of that is to do with the fact that they don't have the same games. But we're getting to the point where the Quest 1 won't have the same games as the Quest 2 or the Quest 3 or the Quest Pro. So what I think they should have done, in the defense of my position, is that they should have created a separate ecosystem for the Quest 1 users. Yeah. So that Quest 1 can speak to Quest 1, and they're not, fair enough if they don't want to update it anymore, because it's actually just a financial black hole for them. Yeah. I understand. But they should have just said, right, here is the final update for the Quest 1.
Yeah.
Here's what you have to go forward with now. If you decide to buy one second hand, you at least know what you're getting for it.
Yeah.
But I don't like. I know that we're in a financial crisis. I know that a lot of people cannot afford this hardware at the moment, and I really do feel for them. But I don't like the idea that old hardware is going to be stunting the growth of new and future VR hardware. When we're if you've read the news articles in the last couple of weeks, so many of them are talking about 2022 being a plateau year for VR, right?
Yeah, because nothing happened. Yeah,
because nothing's fucking happening. Despite Quest sales being insane over Christmas for 2021 and 2022, it's still a plateau year. And we don't want that. We want it to keep fucking going upwards. And in order to do that, I think, there has to be some sacrifices. Well, I could talk about over and over, and I could keep going, but
it's quite simple. You just have to look at the chat. The chat's blown up about the Quest 1. The chat has absolutely blown up. Everybody's commenting about it. It's how quickly, so consoles have a 6-year life cycle. Usually, you get get the Xbox. I mean, the last console I bought apart from the PS5 was the Xbox One, and then 2 years later they bought the Xbox One Pro, and that whole console lifestyle lasted about 5 years with the Pro, because it like upgraded to 4K, but you could still play your games. So actually what you were saying, actually that fits, that kind of fits into the time scale we're talking about now. People just have to accept, I think, that Quest 1 is old school. Quest 2 is going to be superseded by Quest 3 this year, 2023. What's happened? Meta being meta, yeah.
Have a look at my chat. Have a look at the third and second last messages and who they're from.
Indie.
By PSVR. Oh, that's Tassos.
Fucking Taz.
Tassos.
So for those who haven't seen, Tassos has changed his name to Indie _by_ PSVR2.
God.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he's going to start saying.
Well done, buddy.
Then he's going to start saying contractors.
Yeah. And is that going to be on PSVR too? I'm sure it is, right?
It has.
Well, contractors.
Yeah.
Are they going to allow the
I really
mods?
hope so, but I don't know if it will.
Maybe if we send Tassos down to the head office, I'm sure they'll do it pretty sharpish.
Just outside with a banner. Contractors.
Honestly, I'll join him.
Yeah.
Like I play enough of it at this point that
I've only played it 3 times. Still, I've hardly played that game.
So,
mate, you need to come and join us on one of our nights, mate.
This is one of the things. Actually, one of the things that's just come up here. So with PSVR 2, there's lots of rumors that that Half-Life Alyx is going to come to PSVR 2. Okay, that's fine, right? I'm really happy. I want more people to experience Half-Life Alyx, but they need the mods. They need gunman contracts. They need levitation. They need all those mods. So if they bring contractors to PSVR 2 with its amazing screens, foveated rendering, running at super high HDR 4K, but they need the mods. So are they going to allow the mods? Because basically the mods are Call of Duty. And that's one of the reasons I play Contractors, is because of the Call of Duty mods and the Jedi mods with the lightsabers. Are they going to allow that?
Yeah. I wonder whether they can do something similar to how Contractors have done it, because they've made their mod section almost universal between PC and Quest. Like, you don't have to create necessarily something for one or the other. You can create something for both. And if you look at how Onward did their Steam Workshop stuff as well, you can access the Steam Workshop on Oculus in order to, share those extra maps and things. So what I'm hoping is that if they do something like that, that they are actually going to allow some sort of Steam Workshop integration. However, knowing how Sony work, I would be very surprised if they allow any of it, because they are super strict of what software, what ones and zeros are even allowed to touch their console.
Yeah. If you
consoles.
Look at like DayZ on console, they I'm pretty sure it's still the same case. You can't get mods or anything. A lot of games that are on PC you can't get mods. I don't on the consoles. So if they're not doing it for flat screen games, I don't know if they do it for VR games. It's VR's pretty small compared to the flat screen games. So it'd be great though. It would be great. And Half-Life Alyx with foveated rendering and all that kind of stuff. I know PlayStation
stable 90 frames per second. Oh wow. Sorry.
Yeah, a few months ago they were saying, because
stable 120.
What's it called? Like just Ghost of Tsushima and some other games. They came out on PC maybe a year and a half, 2 years after release, but they openly said, Sony, that they're going to be bringing their games to PC a lot sooner. So they might be within a year moving forward. So there could be some kind of deal that works both ways. So the PC games go onto the PlayStation.
So to me, Half-Life Alyx on PSVR 2 is a no-brainer. PlayStation should be at the feet of Gabe Newell saying, not give us like throwing money at him because Gabe doesn't need money. Just saying, let us do this. And Gabe should turn around and say, yes, if you allow mods. That's it. That's the final thing. We'll give you the source code. You can port the game. It's not going to be a difficult thing to do. Basically, the PlayStation is just a PC. You can put foveated rendering into it. You can put eye tracking into it. It's going to make it look amazing. Just allow mods. And if I was Gabe Newell, I would say that. Yeah, there you go. Because Valve are like that, aren't they? They did it with Half-Life 2. You know, we've been involved with the mods who worked on Half-Life 2 VR. And they were like, yeah, Valve were like, yeah, get on with it. Do this, do that. We just need to speak to our legal team. Hold on. Yeah, it's fine. Go and do it. You can release it.
A great example of that. Yeah, come.
Sorry, Indy, yeah.
No, you were talking, Karen, mate. It's fine.
No, I was about to end.
Okay. A great example. A great example. No, after you. A great example of that is, do you remember when I took you into Neos for the first time and it was that Half-Life train journey thing?
Oh, wow,
and this guy made it himself. It's the whole train journey out of Half-Life. And Paul from the VRM was telling me, he goes, basically he spoke to Valve and they said, yeah, that looks wicked. Here's the actual assets from the game.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And because Valve were really cool at that. They were, with the Half-Life 2 VR mod, them letting them do that and stuff, and how cool it was. I've yet to. I do want to experience the Half-Life 2 VR mod on the Pico, in PCVR obviously, but I think I'll wait for episode 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's being worked on.
So a couple of things I want to talk about then, unless you want to keeping on with this particular part of the conversation, is I have been. Do you remember when we went down to TikTok HQ, Mac, and we basically spent a good 2 hours essentially shouting at them different things that we wanted as content creators, as players.
Don't reinvent the wheel. People have already done it. Just talk to them.
A couple of things that have been confirmed as part that has come directly from our conversations with Pico.
Yeah.
Okay. These aren't emails, by the way, guys. These are actually us inside the Pico TikTok HQ, inside the Pico room with the Pico developers and things, and them asking us, what can we do better, and us being like, well, let me get out my Bible-sized list of things that you could improve VR with. And they weren't insulted by it. They were happy that we were shouting and screaming at them and throwing ideas left, right, and center. So a couple of the things that were the biggest thing I think that we pointed out that was a no-brainer, that was a no-shit statement throughout the entire thing was access to DLC.
Yeah.
Access to DLC is now they have pushed hard, and there are several games that already have the DLC available, like Walkout,
Demeo.
I think, is now getting it. Demeo is now getting it.
Demeo's got all of it.
Things like Contractors.
Yeah, Demeo's got all of it. Raid of Fire is released on Demeo.
Yeah, so they've confirmed it now that they are pushing for that. That's one of their big goals for 2023 is getting all DLCs sorted. As soon as a new game comes in, having all the DLCs ready. So that's been confirmed. The other thing, and I'm really happy about this. I'm really, really happy about this because this was my suggestion. Was being able to pick up an app,
yes,
and throw it at a wall and walk into the game.
Yeah.
Right? They've confirmed that something at least like that is happening and the developers are working on it. And it is, and I quote, the #1 agreed idea with the developers.
So if anybody is not aware of what happened to us, we had the EU game developer manager, we had the head of Pico EU in the room, and they asked us what do we want, and Shuey said, I want to throw a game at a wall and walk into it. And they were like,
yeah, because that sounds awesome.
And they were like, what? And he was like, yeah, pick a game up and have like your favorite games on the wall, and you can just walk into your game. Instead of having to go like menu, button, start, blah, 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 go into the Pico ecosystem and just have your favorite games there and just walk into them. You also had the what was it? You had the file, didn't you?
Yeah.
You had the file. We could just throw it at the wall and just have all your favorite games in the file.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased they took
Pico
that
are
away.
actually listening with they're trying to make the home system more than just a menu system. And part of that is like the interactive stuff, like being able to, like if your room is say a retro arcade, being able to walk over to an N64 looking machine, pick up, your Population 1 cartridge, pop it in, and off you go. And I know people are going to say to me, and I know this, that to an extent, part of that is available through the Oculus PC VR software, and I know it is. But why is this not just more available in different ways, shapes, and forms? And one of the things I wanted to be able to do was literally pick up a game, throw it at a wall as a portal, and walk into it, and it starts loading, right? Because that's just a pretty cool thing to do, rather than just press the button like you would on a phone. Because who gives a fuck about whether it looks good on a phone? I know it's an Android device, but I'm in VR for Christ's sake. I want to do something kick ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to address something in the chat as well.
Go.
Everyone is right. So this is
Indie
that
by PSVR 2.
This is Tassos, right? So basically, everyone's saying I said that about never getting the Quest 2, which I never was going to get, but we had a conversation, Mac, right? And we were like, yeah, it made sense for my channel. And then I did get the PSVR to get the PSVR 2, but I had to sell it because
Don't say I told you to. Don't say I told you to.
You did though.
And then everyone, yeah, he did. And then everyone's saying to me that I'm going to get a PSVR 2 no matter what. So this is the way I'm thinking, right? So I wasn't going to get into this, but I basically got the Pico because I need to look if it's that decent to be a replacement for my Valve Index.
Yep.
My 40th birthday is coming up. I could have just held off and sold my Index and got the PSVR 2 and the PS5, but I didn't because I need my VR on PC to be good quality. I need to make sure I've got a good headset for that because that's the most important thing to me, because there's so many games in that. PSVR 2 has got games coming out, but there's going to be a point where it slows down. So
yes and no. I think I see where you're going with it, but I'm not sure that's true.
Yeah, so my point is that I could sell my Index for like 700 quid, make the rest up and get the PSVR 2, which is an option. But if I keep the Pico, which I'm going to do, and I tested out today in virtual desktop and stuff, it seemed all right. Am I going to get the PSVR 2? I still don't know. It'll be good to have a PSVR 2. Everyone's saying that it's going to have indie stuff on there, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much. But yeah, I'm not going to say I'm not going to get it because that was my original plan. It's just that it's not a priority for me. It's not like, oh, I need to get a PSVR 2, if you get what I'm saying. And I get what you're saying as well, Power On, but I don't know. When I had the PSVR, titles came out and then it went dry, and then there was all the indie stuff, which was great. But AAA wise, I don't know how often AAA titles are going to come out. I mean, it's going to be it's going to be more often than, I think it's going to be more often than on PCVR because of all of the different things that come under the flag of PlayStation. I think they're going to push it a lot more, aren't they?
Yeah.
And with the photo rendering and all that stuff, they're going to bring out some pretty sick games. So yeah, I mean, with my channel, sorry, mate, just going to say, just going to finish. With my channel, it's basically, I needed the Quest 2 for even games that come out on Steam VR only, and the early access only work on the bloody Quest 2. So yeah, I need the Quest 2. Unfortunately, I wish I didn't. Okay, that's
That
the end. Of
that entire speech needed violin music behind it. And
I
we all get
I
it, and
feel
we're
I
all
was
still
motivated.
gonna fucking.
Oh my god, I feel like I've influenced so much of what you've just said. So
Because you have.
I know. I had his best intro. So can I just say, Rios has just joined as a member on my channel, and Rezol's just donated $10. Cheers, my friends. Thank you very much.
By the way, that emoji is fire.
That is fucking great. Serge, man, everything I do is motivated to help you.
I do it for you.
Get the violin out.
The PS, yeah. See this? This is the world's smallest violin. It's playing just for you. So at the time when you had your PS5, just before you rebranded, that was the wrong decision to have the PS. When you rebranded, it was the wrong decision to have the PS5. So
Yeah.
Yes.
but getting the Pico is the best decision you've ever made. Sell your Index. Honestly, the Pico it's a great PC VR headset. It's great screens, great lenses. It's superior in certain ways to the Index. In certain ways it isn't, because you don't have the lighthouse tracking. But you will not ever again have a problem with the indie game where they say, "Oh, we haven't done the Index controllers yet. We've basically done it for Quest 2," because the Pico 4 will do that for you, because they're basically quite similar.
Yeah. So can I just address Googly Games saying you rebranded, it's worked. I don't see you selling your Index, right? So this is what I left out, Googly Games. My Index is on eBay as of yesterday.
Buy it.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like I need to buy it.
Oh no! I tell you what we'll do.
Right, Mac,
I tell you what,
influence him.
I'll
Make
buy
him buy
it.
it.
I'll buy it. Right, and then you go and buy an Index, and then we'll fuck Indie off again.
Yeah, sell your PSVR, cancel your fucking order.
I'm gonna sell my
There you
Pico. Oh my god!
Yeah, this is actually just
Oh
something I
my
3D
God.
printed. Like, I don't actually own one. It's...
Oh my god! It's gone to shit already. So the right. So my map for this year is Pico PCVR. I'm not really bothered about Quest standalone, because there's not really a lot happening on Quest standalone that interests me. I'm really interested in PSVR 2. I want to play Gran Turismo 7 in VR. I want to play Resident Evil Village in VR. I want to play Horizon Call of the Mountain in VR. I'm extremely excited about those 3 games, and that isn't so. What Shuey said about 2022 being a plateau year, nothing really happened in 2022. We're going to talk about our highlights of 2022 later in the podcast, but like, as far as video games, the one that sticks in my mind is Red Matter 2, Levitation, the Half-Life Alyx mod. So 2022 was a bit of a pissy year. 2023 I'm super excited about. Because PSVR 2 is coming out. We might have Quest 3 in October, and that gets me really excited. So that's the reason why I got a PSVR 2. It's probably the reason why Shuey got a PSVR 2. It's probably why you are thinking about getting a PS5 again. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sorry, I was just going to say, I'm excited about Call of the Mountain. I think Resident Evil will be good, but honestly, I think they ruined Resident Evil. The first one was a classic, second one was really good, and then it just went action-based. I love the whole puzzle bit of it and running around that mansion. I wish they'd bring out a Resident Evil like that again.
4 and 5 were my favourites.
Yeah, I like the other one, the slow-paced horror version.
Oh no!
Pre-Nemesis was my favourite by a long shot.
Okay.
That was number 3, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's when it started getting more action. That was a decent. That's when you got the rocket launcher or something, wasn't it, or grenade launcher or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Nemesis. That was
decent.
That's the quintessential Resident Evil for me back in the day.
4, 4 is the one that I played 4 on the, I think it was the 64 N64. Was it
Wow.
GameCube maybe.
GameCube? Yeah, GameCube. Oh, Resident Evil 4 to me was the pinnacle. Oh. 5 was really good, but I don't think they'll do that one again because basically spent lots of time kicking black people in the face. So
Yeah, there was a lot of issues
there was
with
a lot
that
of
game.
issues. Yeah, there was like a lot of, you know, you can kick Spanish people in the face. It doesn't matter. But if you're kicking black people in the face, there's a lot of issues. I'm just
Let's
saying.
move on to a new subject.
Okay, let's move on quickly. VR Game of the Year. Steam VR Game of the Year. Now, you made a whole video about this, didn't you?
I made a whole thumbnail about this. Like, the video had other things, but that was like, just so that we're clear, my opening to that video, for those of you who haven't seen it, is literally the words, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So
I saw that. Sorry, I thought you were talking about our personal ones. I get what you're talking about.
No,
now.
Before we get into it, we need
Sorry,
to
mate.
explain that Steam says, like, will you take part in the Game of the Year award sort of thing? They send out an email, and then you have to vote on your Game of the Year, Music of the Year, blah 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 blah. And VR Game of the Year is there, but unfortunately, you can't skip it to complete the survey.
Yep.
So what happens is that people who haven't played VR go, "Oh, that's the only game I recognise. I'll vote for that." And that's why I think what happened. And then I hand over to the bearded maestro, that is Shuey, because he is going to fucking go off on one.
So, it's slightly better than fucking Cooking Simulator, which was the previous Steam VR Awards winner. Cooking fucking Simulator, okay?
When, 2021?
Yep.
Yeah.
So in the last 2 years, right, we've had
For me.
Game of the Year be Cooking Simulator,
VR.
and then 2022. Yeah, sorry, Steam VR Awards. And then 2022, it was Hitman 3. It was Hit. Yeah, but not in VR.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, it's great in VR.
Did
Did you not see Max Stream when the first date came out? It was fucking shit.
Hold on, Shuey, can we punch him in VR?
It was just so bad, man. Like, I don't even know how to describe how bad of a decision this is. Like, people are going to go and buy Hitman 3 VR based on this award.
Yeah.
And they're going to shove it, right, on every single thing. You're not even going to see Codename 47's face on most of the marketing now. It's just going to be a big Steam VR Awards winner sticker sat there for the rest of eternity. The thing is Hitman 3 was a good game. Hitman 3 was a very good game.
Hitman's always
Huge, massive.
I loved
Oh my god!
every Hitman game that I've played. Right, there is not a single Hitman game. There's arguments to be had over Absolution and stuff, but like as a thing, I've enjoyed every Hitman game I've played. I love the lore behind Agent 47.
The package of Hitman 3, where they put everything into Hitman 3, that was what sold it. Everything, all the sort of previous games, all the previous levels. That was why Hitman 3 was so great. Not in VR. Sorry.
No, in VR it was a fucking mess.
I didn't play it, and I didn't get Hitman 3 on purpose because I just thought, oh god, but I should play it in flat screen.
So
Hitman is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Sorry.
Yeah. So exactly what you're saying, right? So my first experience with Hitman 3 was going into the manor, and you had to subdue the detective. So I walked up behind him. This is gonna be so cool. I reached my hands out and I squeezed his neck, and he went, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, what?" Because you have to press a button, which isn't like the grip button. It's like an A button to grab somebody from behind. And if you press the button too early, you miss. And if you press the button too late, you kind of ruffle their hair. and they go, "Ooh, what are you doing?" And it's like, it was such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's a shame because I did watch your live stream and I was really excited for it. And before you played, you said it's shit, and I was like, "Come on, you got to be joking." Then I saw your stream and I was like, "We laughed about it. We did take the
We
piss
did,
out of it a
yeah,
lot because
yeah.
it was funny."
The stream was funny.
But
The stream was great.
yeah, it's
The
such
thing
a
is, right,
shame.
can you imagine with the new adaptive triggers on the PSVR 2 how good it would feel like if you could feel their heartbeat through that as you were garroting them, right? That would be so good. And instead, we're going to press a button.
No, exactly. So, are IO going to port Hitman 3 to PSVR 2?
Nope. I mean, sorry, they might do, but they're not going to make any improvements on it.
Do you think PlayStation would let them run with that piece of shit port?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Christ almighty. Hitman 3 could be the greatest game ever in VR.
In VR.
If they let you do the thing where you just walk up behind somebody and grab them. And when you grab them, the adaptive triggers do that thing that they do so well, where you... and then you know they're dead. Or you click or... Oh, it could be... I mean, the Hitman 3 game has so much content. It's like a 50, 60, 70-hour game. AAA, quality graphics. Just let me strangle somebody. Let me strangle somebody with the PSVR 2 controllers. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think something... are we done with Hitman and the game of the year?
We can move on, mate.
Yeah,
It's made me angry.
No, I just wanted to say, something that we didn't put in the list is somebody just mentioned, I think it's Googly. We need to plug the new channel because this is the last podcast on our own channel.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah,
a new
You
channel.
are correct. We do need to plug it. Yes, we are moving over to the official Virtually Rek't podcast channel as of the next episode.
30th of January.
30th of January. We should have all new, brand new graphics to go with it. Done by our very own Mr. Dips.
Mr. Dips!
And
yeah,
so this is the last time that you will all have to talk in 3 different chats, which has been quite nice.
Yeah,
thank you, Clueless. Appreciate.
Oh, he's done it. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, join up. We'll obviously advertise it more towards the time. But yeah, make sure you go and make sure you go and subscribe.
You can subscribe now, can't you?
You can subscribe now.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, there's nothing there. We've got a
do
Twitter,
it.
but we're getting the brand. Yeah, sorry, we've got the Twitter. We're just getting the branding done. We'll push that a bit. We've got the Discord as well, but we need to get the branding done, and then we'll start getting that out to people as well.
Yep.
But you need to understand that we are men. So these things, it's like elephants making love. There's a lot of noise and not a lot happens for quite a while. So
yeah, and then it all happened at once.
And it all happened at once. Woo! 30th
of
of January is the... This is why we said season 2, episode 1-ish. Because the real launch of season 2 is on the 30th of January with the new channel. And then you will see us in HD in all our glorious baldness, hairiness, hatness, whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be really good. We need to get to get everyone on there, so we'll start pushing that a bit more, and that'll be awesome, man. To get it all in one chat, it'll be. We might need to put slow mode on. I don't know because it'll be a lot of people typing at once, right?
Yeah,
well, I don't know. We'll have to.
We'll work it out.
We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. Right. So plug done. Next thing. I think we need to do our favorite moments of last year.
Okay, so what we wanted to do was do a recap of 2022. So this is our favorite moments. Like my favorite moment, Shui's favorite moment, Indy's favorite moment, even though he has dementia and he can't remember what his name is most of the time. So who wants to go first?
Mine's pretty simple, but
okay, yeah, go.
Okay, cool. My favourite moment was watching you two shrivel up into little fucking prawns on the Christmas podcast.
Oh, oh my God. I was so drunk. I could only see out of one eye. I had to close my eye.
Yeah, he went one-eyed Willy on us. I remember that right at the end. You were like,
I looked like I had a stroke. Like, ooh, face.
The amount of times I have rewatched the last 5 minutes of our Christmas stream just because none of us signed off at the same time. Mac couldn't figure out how to do things. Even after we'd signed off of the podcast, Mac had left his PC and everything on.
I had to literally have to switch my PC off. It was crazy.
Yeah. It was such a good stream, man. I enjoyed every moment of it until about an hour later, where I then spent a decent proportion of that time vomiting outside on my garden.
I'm not surprised, mate. You were going wild, mate. We were like, slow down, mate. No, somebody just donated.
Weeble's donating 79p every single time. Being a cheapskate.
Yeah, I'm putting a cap
bastard
on that next time.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. I own up to it. But I'll tell you what, right? I will actually post these in the Discord at some point. My wife took pictures of me afterwards.
Right, that's for the Discord. That's the first post on the new Discord.
Yeah.
All right. I'll pop them on there. My wife's got videos and pictures of me on the sofa, and it's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, Indy's just posted the link in my chat, and he's posted the link in his chat. Have you done the link in your chat? Yeah.
I've got
post it again.
Yeah. So basically,
again,
what's happening is we're moving over to Virtually Rek't podcast. This will not be a 3-person podcast from now. It'll be a one unified podcast from now on. But that. Oh my God. I watched it. I mean, the donations went crazy. We still don't know how much money people gave us because none of us have gone back and looked, because it was just like crazy. It was so much fun. Oh my God.
What about you, Sherry? What was your favourite?
I think it's sort of a toss-up.
So funny watching Shuey eat
bread. That's what I was laughing.
You are need food.
I'll tell you what. Hold on. Do you guys remember Trading Places when he's pissed up and he's Santa and he's sitting and he's Santa and he's eating the salmon and he's eating his beard at the same time? That's what it reminded me of. Dan Aykroyd. Sorry, go on, mate.
Sorry.
Okay, so mine's a 3-way toss-up. Okay, and I know which one I'm going to talk about, but I want to just very, very briefly touch on the other two. One is EGX, which Mac's going to talk about, and that was a really big thing for me, and it was a really big thing for him, and hopefully this year it's going to be a really big thing for Indy. And the other was actually Indy joining the podcast.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because it's made a huge difference to what we do and how we do it and how we think about what we're doing. It's no longer just the young buck arguing with the old decrepit lion. It's there's more to it now. Like it's not just like the type of content and the type of games, but the type of personalities that we've got here, and that's made a big difference to me. So that was the other one. But
Shuey, it's like
I needed to throw out some sort of emotion.
I'm having a heart attack. Help me.
It's all right. Me and Indy doing this podcast from now on. We'll replace Mac in a week. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
We just need to find another old balding man.
Weeble will take my place. He'll be fine.
We'll get Ramsey Nesbitt to take over.
So yeah, the one I've chosen then is actually being invited to TikTok HQ.
Oh right, yeah, that was a great day.
And the reason being is a couple of things. One, we met Silver Tongue Devil and Beanie, who are super cool guys, and it was really good to hang out with them for the day. Two, because we were actually having an effect on possibly millions of people's experience in VR by what we were telling the devs.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
Like, short of us having our names literally stamped on it, we know that we were having that effect, and we'll have that effect going forward on Pico users, and that's really, really cool. But yeah, but also having a company recognize you as a creator and then take you out and wine and dine you in this unbelievably fancy fucking restaurant, where we had a fucking sommelier and we had our own waiter. And when I decided to push the boat a bit and be like, can you change this set menu item that you have that's obviously super fancy and add bread? And they were like, yeah, sure, whatever you want. Do you want that toasted? Do you want butter on it? Do you want garlic on it? What? Like, they couldn't help you enough. And being able to share that with like the Pico guys and the other content creator guys was super fun. Wandering back through London, absolutely pissed up, was interesting. Trying to get home on my own was very interesting. I usually rely on somebody else, like my wife, for that. But yeah, being there in that big building, like this massive tech building that is just, those the tech things that you see on like The Simpsons and stuff, where they've gone all over. Like, there's even in Grand Theft Auto 5 when you go to the tech place, and like they've got beanbags and they've got like places where you can get 24-hour juice and energy drinks and food that's completely free to all of the people that work there. That sort of Hank Scorpio type place where everyone's super happy because they've all got hammocks. That's what TikTok HQ is, literally.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And so yeah, that was probably one of the big moments for me in 2022.
I honestly never seen so many beautiful people in my life. There were so many young, beautiful people in that place. I mean, I'm a heterosexual, red-blooded male, but Jesus, there were people there that I would have liked to have licked their calves. They were so beautiful. That's
a creepy kink, man.
It is a creepy kink. It is a creepy kink, but it's like if you're a guy from the northeast of England, you suddenly go down to London and you go to a company like Pico, which is a very young, dynamic company, and there are so many beautiful people there, you just feel like an old fart. And you're like, why am I here? Oh, anyway.
We all looked very out of place, didn't we?
We did. All
Sat
of us
at the table in the dining hall. Like there was me, like, and I'd actually dressed up for this occasion, where I was wearing trousers for the first time in.
Not shorts, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I don't think I think that was the first and last time I wore them in 2022. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, I'm going to do 2 weeks of nothing but standing and seated calf raises now till Max shows up, and hopefully my birthday, my 40th.
Wax your legs the day before, mate. Go and get a wax.
We have to point out here that it's Indy's birthday in February, and we are going down to the smoke, or Shuey's coming up to the smoke. I'm going down to the smoke, and we are going to celebrate the life of our most favourite.
Going down?
You're going up. I said you're going up, aren't you?
I'm I live
down.
north of Indy.
Oh, do you? I thought you lived
by
south.
a long way.
Oh, right, okay.
By like 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
You're going to come past me to get to him.
Shows you how much I know about fucking geography. Anyway, so my highlight of 2022 is actually two. I'll just quickly go through the Soul Assembly. Soul Assembly invited me down to see their new game, Drop Dead the Cabin. And while I was there, I met Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis. I met Cass and Cherry. I met Carlos from Portuguese VR channel. I met Nazy. I met Eyes on VR. I met Dr. Oculus. I met Daysnetic. It was a great day. But my greatest moment of 2022 was going to EGX, because I saw my great friend Shuey, obviously. I met GT. I met the legend that is GT, and he is as big as he looks on his videos, isn't he? He's just like
Yeah,
he's just
no,
like
he's
he's like
bigger.
a bicep. He's just like one big bicep. And when he hugs you, you can feel him like it's like God of War. Boy. He just crushes you. And I met John Hibbins, I met Monkalicious, I met Doc Ock while I was there as well. Clickster and Henry Van Leers. It was a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And we're going to do it all again this year. Aren't we, Serge?
Yes, Serge.
It's a bit of a fucking travel for me, guys. I don't know, it's a lot of
it's like 15
mileage,
minutes.
You know?
Yeah,
I've got to speak to my accountant if
15
it's
minutes on the
feasible,
underground,
guys.
you twat.
15 minutes. The nearest underground to me is bloody 40 minutes away. Actually, it's no.
Oh
it's
my
not.
God.
Less than that, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that was
Yeah.
my highlight. My highlight was EGX. So thank you to everyone I met there. Thank you to Shui for being there. Thank you to Serge for not turning up.
I just wanted to make you want me more, Mac. That's the whole point.
Okay. Right, what are we going to move on to next? I have two subjects which I like to talk about. One of them isn't VR related, and one of them is. So
Let's do non-VR first and then VR.
okay. Last of Us. Who played The Last of Us on PlayStation?
The original, yes, not the second one.
Okay.
I haven't played number 2 yet.
Okay. So what do you think of the game?
I loved it.
Okay. I hated it.
I loved it.
Serge?
I loved it. I loved it. I got number 2 and Horizon Call of the West as well. And I just didn't play them, unfortunately, because somebody told me to sell my thing. But I know you told me that you borrowed the PlayStation off your niece or something, right? So you can play it. Is that right?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Right,
yeah.
so you have to understand, I'm a massive Xbox fan, and I just played Gears of War 4. Gears of War 4 is a very slick third-person shooter where it's like a skill-based shooting game, and it's like play it on Legendary, and it's hard, it's crazy,
Thought it was shit.
and it's all like about your skill of shooting. So when I played Last of Us, and there was like a young girl pointing a gun, and she was doing this, I was like, yeah, that doesn't suit me because I'm used to like that kind of Gears of War play thing. I really love the story of Joel and Ellie. I really loved the story, but I could not get past the gameplay.
Yeah.
The thing is,
I come.
No, you go.
All I was going to say is I didn't like the Chainsaw Alien game where he was talking about. What's it called?
Chainsaw Alien game.
Gears of
War.
Rubbish, right? That's Gears of Wank.
You peasants.
It's
Peasants.
Gears of old people's games.
Gears of the same 5 minutes repeating for nearly 2.5 hours.
Exactly.
Per PlayStation.
Yeah. Hopefully Mac has a meltdown right now, live in front of the whole world.
I really didn't like Gears of War.
Yeah, I didn't.
Like to the point where I played the first and second one.
I don't even know why I like you. I don't even know why I like any of you.
Oh, poor Marcus.
Marcus Phoenix, R.I.P.
He's got my name. He's got my name. That's why I felt a affinity with him.
So, I loved The Last of Us, and for many reasons. The story.
One.
Hang on, he's the first one. I haven't played the second one, so I can't speak for the second one. But the story was at the time, in my opinion, phenomenal.
Yeah,
mind-blowing.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
I almost cried when you walk out and see the giraffes. Right, it was the most mind-blowingly heartfelt, simplistic, but somehow devastatingly beautiful point in a game I think I've ever experienced.
Yeah. Giraffes?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
So how do you not remember that? It's like the biggest point in the game, I would say.
It's the thing.
It's the reason to play the game, in my opinion.
I started playing it a third time when I got my PS5. I didn't get to know giraffes.
You open a door on a building and you walk out onto like this balcony bit where and you're in the
there's
middle of
wild
New
animals.
York, and there's wild animals wandering around, and giraffes go past you, and it's just like, oh shit, yeah, the
Can you
world
shoot
is
them in the head?
actually dead.
Can
No,
shoot
you
them in the
can't
head?
shoot them in the fucking
Oh,
head.
that's
What is
not
wrong
good
with
then.
you?
Doesn't mean anything then, does it?
Oh my god! You have to really. Yeah, we're dealing with children here, Shuey. We're dealing with children.
So, so there's that point in the game.
Yeah, I remember
There
that.
is the
Yeah.
ending. The ending of the game I thought was done really, really well. But more than that, the actual game felt like so many different good movies. It was almost like the game felt less like a game in a lot of places and felt more like how was it Fahrenheit 451?
Yeah.
That game from back in the day, or
It's a
what was that
film.
other one where you're sort of trying to find the Zodiac killer? I can't remember what that game was called. Heavy Rain? Those type of games. It felt more like
Press a
those
button
type
to
of
put
games.
press a button to put the towel on. Press a button to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, but without that being the case, like you're still doing all of the like stealthy taking down the weird sort of mushroom-headed zombie type jobbies. I just liked the world they built, and I was super happy about it.
I loved the stuff between Joel and Ellie. I loved that.
It was great, yeah.
What I didn't like was I'd spent so much time in my life honing my shooting skills in Gears of War 3, Gears of War. Whereas when I popped up from behind cover, I could just go reload, reload, reload. And they did the whole thing where she was a young girl. So when she was shooting, there was like you had to kind of do the aiming thing. And that spoilt it for me straight away. Like,
what, that the little girl wasn't a marksman?
It was like 12.
But it had not right. So
she wasn't even 12. I don't think.
Shooting had nothing to do with your skill as a player. It was all about like, oh, you got to remember she's a young girl, so you have to do all this. And I was like, nah, it put me off straight away because I was like a Gears of War guy, got into cover, waited, reload, back out, bam, bam, bam. So like the story was amazing. I mean, I've no problems with people saying this was an amazing game. I felt the story between Joel and Ellie was amazing. I got about halfway through the game and I just went, nah. I'm just done.
Yeah,
I'm just done.
Fuck immersion.
Yeah.
I think no one needs that shit.
Yeah, just blood and guts. I think
people criticize me all the way through this. I'm like, it's just not my game. I understand why people get emotional about it. I understand the whole thing, but it's just not my game. But the TV program.
Haven't started it. Not planning on starting it yet.
I don't know. They've made so many shows and remakes the past year. If you guys watched a guy called The Critical Drinker, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Everything's just crap. It's very hard to find good stuff these days. But yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah,
you carry on. But I've actually got something I want to talk about that I put a tweet out yesterday about that I want to just quickly go over.
I just wanted to say this time next year they'll probably have a Last of Us, some kind of VR thingy, and then we'll see how Mac changes his mind.
I love the
can you
story.
imagine how scary that would be?
Those zombies are fucking awful.
There will be. This year I wouldn't be surprised if they announce something and it comes out in Q1 next year. Wouldn't be surprised. Even if it's like 4 hours long and they charge you 50 quid, everyone will buy it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Right, Shuey, what were you?
Go.
Okay, so another divisive TV show that I think actually fits in with this fits in with this podcast to an extent, right? The Peripheral. Have you guys watched it?
No, I've had it for ages, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
Okay, so The Peripheral intrigued me initially. I'm not going to spoil it because you guys haven't watched it, right? And I don't want to spoil it for anybody else.
No, I've watched it to the end.
Spoil it, it's fine, mate.
Oh, you have watched it?
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it.
That's why I drew back.
Yeah, but I'm also not going to spoil it for anyone else in the chat that hasn't watched it, right?
Okay.
All right, no, Henry. So
yeah, see, Henry.
Yeah, the Peripheral initially drew me in because it seemed like it was going to be a VR type, like a sort of like slightly futuristic VR type TV show. And as it turns out, it's not really that, and it becomes not really that very, very quickly. And so I think, because I only heard bad things about it, like, because I didn't start watching it until a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't finish until last night. And all I heard throughout that time was people saying, it's bad, it was boring, especially like people that I really trust about their opinions. Like we've got a private chat with a lot of different content creators in VR, and a lot of them were saying, yeah, I wasn't really into it. I only managed to get to the third episode. I didn't really carry on past that point. It was too slow. But the thing is, my wife's super into her sci-fi. She's super into sort of shows like this, really. Whether it be zombies, whether it be like space, whether it be like Deep Space Nine, Star Trek, Stargate, it doesn't really matter. She's super into
Babylon 5.
She wasn't too into Babylon 5. Anyway,
Xbox thing. Go on.
No, it must just I agree with what you're about to say there. But yeah, consequently, I had no choice. Once we'd started watching it, we were definitely going to finish it because she was going to make us finish it, and I'm glad she did because I actually loved it. By the end of it, the last 3 episodes of it were absolutely fantastic, but it was really slow to get started. What did you think, Mac?
I think that's the best sci-fi TV program since Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, you are very wrong about that.
I didn't watch any of that stuff. All that Trekkie Babylon.
Not the reimagining of Battlestar Galactica. The whole,
it was good, but like there is a clear winner in the last 4 years over anything else that has been produced in sci-fi. Like just blows it out of the water. The Expanse.
Oh fuck! Oh my god! I'm such a massive.
The Expanse
fan.
is.
I'm such a massive
clearly
fan.
The best sci-fi show in the last decade.
I completely forgot about. Sorry.
No.
I back off. I apologize. The Expanse is the
Bravo.
best.
Get on your knees.
Sci-fi TV program that preceded Battlestar Galactica. Right. So reset. I completely forgot about the
Just
Expanse.
so that we're clear on that one.
I am that guy. Oh my god, the Expanse. It got cut halfway through season 5 and the end was shit. But oh my god, how much time did you invest in those characters?
The end actually is the end is very similar to the books.
Yeah, it is, but they kind of accelerated it. It was
and they obviously had to get rid of Alex because of the whole controversy shit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was all kinds of weird. But yeah, no, the first 4 seasons I thought were absolutely fantastic.
God, I keep saying to my wife, you need to watch The Expanse because she is. Have your lights gone off? Shuey, your background's suddenly gone bad.
You're on red. Either you're very angry or your lights have something happened.
Yeah, we've lost your green
it's
screen.
not on my camera. It's just on that one. What's going on? Yeah.
Hey!
The camera had just gone a bit weird.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Expanse. Oh my god. My god, what a great program. I loved that program.
Yeah, I watched maybe 5-6 episodes and that was it.
Oh no, you need to watch.
I think we just like different stuff. Like
It's slow and methodical, but it's good. We need to go back onto VR.
Sorry, Mac.
What originally we were talking about?
You need to watch what were we talking about? I don't know. How do we get onto that?
Dementia Podcast. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, I watched the full Peripheral. I was fully invested. I really loved the idea of I can't talk about it, can you? But, the forward thinking thing. I loved her. I loved her brother. I loved the guy who fell in love with her in the future. I loved all of the characters that were like not occupying their body, so they didn't give a fuck. So when they got killed, it was like, yeah, I just occupy a new body. It was brilliant. So is there going to be another series, or have they done it?
They haven't confirmed. They've written it. They haven't confirmed.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, Peripheral. Watch it. Great.
Anyway, last subject then. Actual VR subject.
Actual VR subject.
What the hell? Is that what we're here for?
No,
Is it Grid Legends or is it something else?
Oh shit! Here we go. Paradise.
Hold on, no.
Hit the
This
chat.
is Paradise
Paradise.
versus Blue Bottles.
It
This is
is
what it is in the
Paradise versus Blue
hang on,
Bottles.
who's on which side?
Paradise is pro, and sorry, Blue Bottles is
'Cause
pro.
I think
Paradise is
because
against.
Rezol, I think, is pro as well.
chat. Rezel is
Paradise
pro.
just said shit on a stick.
Blue Bottles is pro. Paradise is con.
Shit on a stick.
Okay, I haven't
Wow.
played it, so I can't confirm or deny, but the fact that it looks very similar to a game that I had on the N64 makes me less likely to want to play it.
Right, I'm a sim racing guy, and I looked at the preview and I just went no, because I'm a sim racing guy.
Yeah. If you didn't have PCVR though,
No, still
and you
no.
weren't a sim wanker.
No, still no.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really been. The last racing game I really played hard was Project Cars, the OG one,
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
two
okay.
as well.
Yeah, that's okay.
Back then, yeah. But since then, I love racing games. I've always been good at them, but not really sunk hours and hours into them.
I don't have a virtual steering wheel, so
I don't understand why they released a racing game on standalone VR, because how do you control it? Do you use the...
no, I disagree with that. I think we need to start moving towards having stuff like that anyway to try and show legitimacy as a genre. I do think there should have been different ways of doing that. My problem, from my standpoint of having not played it, which I know is a weak, it's a weak standpoint.
Yeah, same as me.
Yeah. My problem is not with the game itself, because I haven't played it and I can't have that much of an opinion on it. My problem is with the way that it was released. When was the last time you saw EA not market a game?
Relevant.
Like the only reason any of us even knew that it existed was because it popped up on the store with a coming soon message.
Yeah.
Like that was the first time any of us knew this thing even existed, had been in development. Like no one knew anything about it. That was the first time it popped up. No one got early access to it.
Yeah.
That's
always
not
a bad
in
sign.
not in a significant enough way that it would make any difference on launch day anyway. Like how is that possible? Like,
so yeah, but it's like Codemasters. So like for me, Codemasters, it's like Toka Touring Cars. It's all the games they've produced for racing. Those games I love, and then they just do this thing. They do Grid Legends. I mean, Grid Legends is it's a console game, so people will recognize the name. People will think, "Oh, this is VR. Oh, Grid Legends. Oh, that's going to be great." And then this happens, and I can only say for myself, I haven't played it, but I just watched the reaction of the people who have, and it's basically totally negative.
Yeah, it was so out of nowhere that I didn't even watch people's reactions or anyone's videos or anything. It was just like, I'm not even gonna bother. And then I saw, I think Blue Bottles is being putting content up.
Yeah, and it looks.
He loves it.
He does. Yeah, he does.
What do you think the main thing is? Like, you can't steer it with your hands. That's one big thing, right?
Googly, I agree with. I want to answer your question. If they lowered the price, would you still have a problem with the graphics? No.
Okay.
No,
so
no, I wouldn't. I think the graphics are a big thing, but I don't think that's not all of it. Of course, like there are way too many other complaints, other than just the graphics side of it.
Okay, what are the other complaints then, mate? Because I know it's
Controls are a big one.
Yeah, okay, the controls.
Controls are a big one because we don't have access to any kind of Bluetooth external device, which means that, for instance, like in a lot of shooting games, Even if you don't have a gun stock, they still provide you with a software virtual gun stock.
They do, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have done anything. Oh, here you go. Rezol is adding some more complaints. So mirrors are a complaint. Non-spatial audio is a complaint. Flat screen menus is a complaint.
31
I think
gig.
they're the big ones.
31
and
gig.
It's huge.
It's fucking massive.
Yes, yeah. That's quite a lot. That's quite a bit.
That's a big game. I'm trying to think of other ones that were as big.
Medal of Honor.
Medal of Honor. Yeah, that's the classic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking shite.
Medal of Honor, yeah. I even said to Mac, I said, if that goes to £15, I would buy it just to experience World War II in VR. Because I love Medal of Honor back in the day.
Yeah,
and
so
he goes, still, don't fucking bother. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, it must be. And you know how Mac controls my mind, right? So I was like, shit, that's come off my wish list.
I absolutely do. Yeah. Right, so I played Medal of Honor, Medal of Honor, the original Medal of Honor on PS, fucking great game. So I was so excited for Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. And when I played it on PC, the opening scene is where you're lying against a tank and there's these two characters who are looking at you and they go, "Oh, you've survived. Oh, you can't talk because you've been shot in the face. Here we go." And I remember looking at it thinking, is this a PlayStation 1 game? Is this a PlayStation 1 game? Literally, this is shit. And it just got worse. There was unskippable cutscenes. There was
shit. Yeah.
Terrible. Oh, it was
performance was shit.
Oh, my PC at the time was pretty good, and it just tanked. There's so many bad things about Medal of Honor. I'm getting PTSD just thinking about it. Sorry, I can't do it.
Okay, so let's finish the grid. Let's finish the grid legends then.
Okay.
Yay or nay, everyone?
No. Out. I'm a sim racing. I'm a sim racing guy.
Not on the Quest 2.
Yeah, I'm a sim racing guy.
Look, yeah.
Right, there you go. There's my sim rig there. I'm a sim racing guy. You can't do sim racing VR standalone.
Man. You can.
I've just realised what you need to do. You need to get some sellotape and strap your Quest 2 controllers to your steering rig. That's exactly what I was going
to say. And then as he steers it, he moves the thumbstick, so he just feels like he's actually playing.
Yeah, no, I think that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Like this. Ooh. Oh, how about, right. Oh, this is amazing. So Mercedes did this. in 2022. So if you were going into a corner and you had to brake, you could push your steering wheel forward to change the brake bias, or you could pull the steering wheel back to change the brake bias. This is how Lewis Hamilton won in 2020. So, right, I've got a steering wheel here, right? How about this? You have your controllers and you push forward to accelerate and you pull back to brake, and then you have your steering axis left and right to steer. So, right, here we go.
I mean, that sounds god awful to me.
No, it would work. It would work, right? So keep your arms in, right? So accelerate is push forward, okay? Brake is pull back, and then you could do some. No, it's not going to work because your arms will get tired. That's fucking shit. Who thought of putting?
I told you to let him carry on because eventually you realise it's a shit idea.
Who thought of putting a fucking racing game into standalone VR without a steering wheel? It's shit. Codemasters, fuck off.
I don't have enough room for a sim rig. It would be fun though. I have always been good at racing games. But I just don't have the sim rig thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean that doesn't look too bad.
I'm old and posh, so there you go.
You stick it to you clamp it to your thingy, your desk, right, and then.
No, it's in a rig.
Oh, because you're keeping it now, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I've not sold it. Yeah, it's basically I've realised I can stuff it in the corner and it doesn't get in my way. So that's my sim
Oh,
racing
cool.
rig.
Yeah. Shit, I'm not gonna lie. I would love to do sim racing. It'd be fucking awesome. It would be
It
great.
is,
What
it's
about you,
amazing.
Param? Would you ever get a sim rig or?
The thing is I'm not a big racing fan on the whole, but I'm waiting for VR to change my mind on that.
Yeah.
So if I do get I'll start small with like a desk-mounted rig kind of thing, and then move on from there.
And then what happens is it's like cocaine. It's like the drug that like sort of gets you into doing sim racing, and then all of a sudden you've spent £1,000 on a DDR on a sort of direct drive. My brain's gone. Direct drive wheel setup. And then you buy like the sort of MP3 McLaren sort of thing that costs £1,000. Then you spend all the money on the pedals that actually give you the real brake feel, and then the clutch. And before you look at it, you're like £20,000 down the line, and your wife's divorced you, and you're sat in a fucking shed by yourself doing this.
That's fucking awesome to me. Yeah. Yeah. I would love to get into it because I've always been like my cousin. He goes racing all the time, like on tracks and stuff. And this is just gaming wise with a control pad, but we played together, like trying to complete whatever game it is. And he just couldn't do it, and I go, "Let me have a go," and just smash it first time. I go, "How the fuck did you do that?" And it's just like I don't know,
Controller,
but I've been
yeah.
playing. Yeah, but he'll be on it as well with the controller. But I don't know. Maybe I just see the racing lines differently. But it would be great to get into racing games.
Yeah.
In VR.
The problem with racing games and controllers is that they make it easier for you to do it with the controller, whereas if you're in a sim rig, it's like
it's gonna be
yeah. So I mean, I've been playing Gran Turismo 7 for the last couple of days, and I'm really enjoying it. But I've been playing it on my controller because my wheel doesn't work with the PS5. So it's like and you're like I'm turning in. Oh, I've got the controller pushed, but you know that the controller is like assisted. Yeah, that's exactly the word. Yeah, exactly.
Because I did love years ago the original Gran Turismo, but the thing with me is I don't like all the I don't like it because I don't understand it. Do you know when you can change every aspect of the wheel, like how high this part is and this much, and like I just don't fucking get it. It's just like I'm lost.
Shit.
It's lost on me.
I love it. I like to tune my cars for every single circuit as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, it's just like petrol, kick the tires, let's go, start your engines.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that you've mentioned bits of cars I don't even understand, mate. Like wheels, petrol, just electric's the future. Why bother with it at this point?
Right, you are off my Christmas list. I'm just writing it down here. Right,
Christmas is over, mate. It's 2023.
Shuey is off my Christmas list. Fucking electric.
Right. Well, I think that's us done, boys.
Yeah, I think it is. We've had a good one. Season 2, episode 2 is going to be epic because it's the big change.
I think it should be season 2, episode 1.5
ish
is what it should be.
Should we call it season 2, episode 1-ish?
V1,
V2, whatever.
Let's call it 2022 Christmas Party Part 2.
Oh no!
Shuey's, no! In brackets, Shuey's relapse. How about that, guys?
No.
But yeah, guys, listen. Everyone, just jump on the new one, on the new YouTube channel. We will start pushing the Twitter and Discord. It's only 2 weeks from now, so
yeah,
Dips is doing the graphics for us, and that'd be great. He's the one that did the graphics for my channel. So if you guys are looking for graphics for your channel, hit him up.
Yep, hit him up, man.
Yeah, I am as well. So
there you go. Yeah, Mac's doing it as well. Yeah. We've got some great ideas for Mac's rebranding. It's going to be it's funny. Should be good.
15K in March. We're going to do it. Rebrand.
Yeah.
15K
right, guys.
in March.
I think we've covered everything. It's been great. Good to be back with you guys this year. Had a little bit of a break.
Yep.
looking forward to the new channel.
It's going to be amazing. We've all stopped talking.
No, I'm just looking at the chat. Before we go, I'm just looking at everyone's chat because people are talking about stuff, and it's like, we don't want to just end it. Everyone's saying Max losing his mind
all.
slowly.
Yeah.
Menopause.
Menopause? It's just old age, for fuck's sake. Don't have to do with
So
menopause.
basically,
I've still got my testicles.
After the next episode, like 4 or 5 days later, we're all going to meet up down there. Everyone's coming down. Well, Mac and Power's coming down.
For the birthday.
Dips will be there as well. It's going to be.
Let's get.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be fun. But yeah, guys, it's been great, man. Yeah, hope everyone Happy New Year to everyone. I know it's 16 days ago, but we haven't actually said it to anyone in the chat. But Happy New Year.
I did say Happy New Year at the beginning, but there you go. You got dementia, so that's okay.
Yeah, but you got dementia too, so you might have not said it yourself.
Oh, did I say?
Have a leg to stand on.
Anyway, Happy New Year! Woo!
All right,
I'm with my favourite people. I'm with my favourite crew. I've just had a wonderful time. Thank you very much. Season 2, episode 2-ish is going to be the rebrand. So join the channel. Yeah. There's a link in the description. Go and subscribe. Subscribe to Shuey. Subscribe to Indy. Subscribe to me.
Yeah. Wicked, guys. So I've been Indy VR.
I've been Mac in VR.
I've been Power on VR. I haven't. I've been Power on VR.
He's the only one who got his name wrong. Oh my god! He thinks we've got dementia. He's done
wiped out.
He's been Power off VR.
To be fair, you have done the 7-day fucking stupid shift, haven't you?
Yeah, 12 hours a day, 7 days in a row.
God, I remember working. It was shit.
Fuck you. Right. Jesus Christ. Right, we're off. We're going to bed.
Yeah, Power on. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to abuse Mac as soon as he comes down to this neck of the woods.
100%.
We're going to lock him in the cupboard, feed him fish heads.
Oh, I like fish heads. I'm retired. Right, any food was good.
All right. Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah,
we'll catch
you later. Guys. It's been Season great. 2, episode 2-ish, 30th of January. Come watch it. It's going to be great.
Take care.
Later, people.
Bye.